Hi, my name is Lowell Joseph Gallin, and I'm here with our guest for today's interview, Eyal Beeri. Eyal, shalom.
Shalom.
And we are here in the Land of Promise filming our Love Israel with Laura and Lowell interview series on assignment for New York's newest TV talk show, The Laura and Lowell Show, L&L. We are going to be discussing with Mr. Beeri his MA, which he is getting at Ariel University, where he is researching Pashtun traditions of Israelite origins. Who are the Pashtun? You would call them, we would call them the Pathans of Afghanistan and Pakistan. There are 49 million Pashtun in the world. Half of them live in the mountains of Afghanistan and Pakistan. The rest live in a Pashtun diaspora. And most Pashtun proudly believe that they are descended from the lost tribes of Israel. How do you know? All you have to do is ask them, and you will see. This is the answer. So, Eyal, could you tell us a little bit about how you got involved with this research and some of your trips to India and exotic places?
Yes, actually I began with this subject in 2007. I was working with Rabbi Avichail almost 1 year, and he sent me in the end of this year to check about the Pathans in center of India.
5 years ago in 2007. That's Rabbi Eyal Avichail, who has been researching the subject of the lost tribes of Israel for many years and is well known and respected by most Israelis at this point.
Yes, and then I fly to India, and to Central India I met Dr. Navras Jaat Aafreedi. He was in contact with Rabbi Avichail, and we start, to learn where is the settlements of the Pathans, where they are sitting, how they are living, and we began, Navras and me, began to interview them and to understand a little bit about their customs, because the idea was to check around the costumes. Maybe inside the costumes we will find some old Jewish tradition.
And what kind of, when you were doing your research on the customs of the Pashtun, what if any Jewish traditions did you discover within them?
This is exactly my thesis that I'm finished now. Actually, you can say that in central India there is not so many customs that following the Jewish tradition spatially. But when you are reading among researchers that had been in Afghanistan around the 20th century, and I mean to Barth, he was from Oslo, anthropologist from Oslo, Friedrich Barth, and also Stoyl from Germany. He was in Host. They are giving some examples that the Pathan are really don't following all the time in the way of the Islam. They have a different way of themselves. I can give one interesting example. In Afghanistan, the leaders of each community of Pathan, they have mullah, they have a malik and they have khan. They are the leaders of each community. And except of them, they have one mullah. This mullah is coming from the Islam. Yes, he is coming from the Islam, and he is actually, coming from the outside to the inside of the community, and the community don't like him. They are put a lot of borders to him. He will say just what we want to hear, and yes, and he will allow us to follow our traditions, and he will not involve in these traditions. And one interesting tradition of the Pathan, that they have different rules that don't follow in the Sharia in many things.
And when Pashtun custom and tradition is at variance with Islamic law and jurisprudence as reflected in the Sharia, which do the Pashtun follow, the Sharia or their traditions?
Their traditions, of course.
So their traditions take precedence, their tribal law takes precedence over the Islamic law that they adopted when they accepted Islam.
Right.
That's very unusual then in the Muslim world.
Some of the researchers say that there is groups that have their own tradition from one side and the Islamic tradition from the other side. But in the Pathan rule, this is especially coming up. For example, I will give some examples. One example is they are keeping their caste and don't getting marriage with Muslims women.
So the Pathans will not marry non-Pashtun Muslim ladies. They don't marry outside of their tribal groups.
The old Pathan were telling me, I was interviewing them, they was telling me if in the old time, if someone was getting married with a Muslim girl or Hindu girl, for example, they were killing him. He will not stay alive. Another example that I can give is around the camel meat.
The what?
Camel.
The camel.
The camel meat.
Camel.
The meat of the camel. Yes. There is one community in India, in Rajasthan. They are living in a city named Stonk. They are each Eid al-Adha, Eid al-Zuhur, Eid al-Adha, you know, the sacrifice Eid. They are eating, just in this Eid, they are eating camel meat. But most of the Pathans never eat camel meat. Even the Muslims, they are eating camel meat, and they respect a lot. The camel has good meat that they like to eat.
So what you're saying is that while the Quran with the halal, first of all, Muslims are allowed to eat food prepared by Jews according to the kosher laws, and the halal laws allow for eating kinds of meat such as the meat of the camel, which Eyal is telling us that are not permitted in traditional Judaism according to the kosher laws. And what Eyal is saying is that there are Pashtun who will not eat camel meat, even though it's permitted in Islam, because they're following older traditions which seem to be based on the traditional Israelite kosher laws as found in the 11th chapter of Leviticus.
Right.
Till today.
Yes.
They won't eat the camel meat.
They don't eat the camel meat.
And they won't marry Muslim girls that are non-Pashtun ethnically.
I can give you another example, interesting one. In the sacrifice, yes, of the Pathan, they are using what we are calling sandak. Are you saying English?
You mean like a moel?
No, sandak is the person that are taking the baby in
They
the
take
head,
the baby,
in
and the
his
sandak
hand.
is the one who holds the baby during the circumcision with us.
Yes,
And they do this too?
and they do the same. The Muslim don't using sandak in the sacrifice. And most of the Pathan...
When you say sacrifice, you mean circumcisions?
Circumcision, excuse me.
They're not
Yes.
sacrificing baby boys. After 7 days, we get circumcised, and this is what Eyal means by sacrifice.
Yes.
Circumcision.
Circumcision, I'm sorry. Yes, in the 8
Or
days
if we
of the
did
baby.
that, we wouldn't be around very long. There wouldn't be many of us left. So there has a sandak,
They
the
have
man
sandak,
holds the baby
Hold the baby.
at the circumcision. Do they also circumcise after 7 days like we do?
Actually, we are doing in the 8 days.
8 days, sorry. That just shows my ignorance.
Yes, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
We are doing in the 8th day. And during the Pathan in India, as I say, many of them was getting involved in the Islamic tradition. And the Islamic tradition, they are following after the 7. They can do in the 7th day, they can do in the 14th day, they can do in the 21st day after the born.
So the Pathans do it like we do on the 8th day.
Some of them doing in the 8th day, and some of them doing like the Muslim doing.
Did you get to go to any parts of Afghanistan or Pakistan or up to the border of Pakistan in India and Kashmir?
No, I didn't been in Kashmir yet. I want to. I have some people that I'm keeping in touch with them in Kashmir. And I believe in Kashmir, like in Afghanistan, Pakistan, we still can find old traditions and they still didn't get involved in the Islamic tradition.
Here's my last question before Eyal and I conclude our first interview. When you spoke with Pashtun, I imagine you were primarily speaking to men. Did you also get to speak to ladies? When you spoke to the Pashtun about their own traditions of Israelite origin, did they seem at home with this idea? Were you telling them talking to them about anything they didn't know? Or, yes, that's true, and so who are you? What was their response when you talked to them about this?
My feeling was, in two levels. One level was that they really respect me and get me, like the brother.
Right.
Oh, yes, it was so nice hospitality that I was getting there. But when you are digging inside and you are saying, I'm from Israel and I'm from Judah tribe and I want to know you as Bani Israel, like the
Bani Israel, the children of Israel.
The children of Israel, they are saying, oh, where have you been? 2,700 years. Yes, where have you been? Now you are coming, you are the first Jew that's coming to our community. Where have you been 2,700 years? Sometimes they're very angry about this. And in the Pathan tradition, they have something that they want to prove that they are really good Muslims. And some of them are, get identity with the Taliban,
right?
And also with Al Qaeda,
right?
Some of them, and some of them are very relaxed people, not obviously like the Hindus knows to be with a lot of respect, with a lot of receive.
Yeah.
That they have for everybody, for every religion, but some of them are really jealous, Islamic,
right?
And they want to prove, that's what I'm explaining, that they want to prove that they are a good Muslim people, and because of this, they want to prove they are don't like Israel.
Eyal, I want to thank you for our first interview, and thank you, our viewers and listeners, for watching and listening. Thank you, Eyal.
You're welcome. Thank you.